In this video, I'm going to cover how to actually upload files in Ruby on Rails, and it's actually pretty straightforward. The helper that we're going to use, the view helper, is the file field, as you can see right here. And it's very similar to the text field that we've used before. It expects an object name, and then an attribute or a method for that object, and then any options that we're going to send with it. And again, this is located in the form helper of Action View and Helpers. So it's a pretty simple little method, like I said, very similar to the text field. I'm also going to be using a little bit different form of the form helper to create a form. That's a lot of forms. And we're using the form_for method call to create a form based on a specific model. And it's just a little bit different. The main thing to recognize is that it's a block. It's a ERB evaluation block embedded in Ruby, so you're not going to have the little equal sign after the % sign here, because whatever happens inside of here will have its own equal signs, as you can see here. So just be aware, it's just a different way of creating forms. It's just as easy. It's based on a specific model that you pass in, and then you can just address the attributes through the particular object that you've set. And you should probably get familiar with this is a Ruby construct of using blocks where F gets set to this particular object, and then you can address the attributes of that object this way. So let's jump over to our code real quick. Actually, let's jump over to our database. Take a look here. I'm using a different application and database to do the file upload because it doesn't really fit into the paradigm of our Movie Critic application. And I just did a simple little program called File App, and it only has one table. Ignore that other table for now. And this table just has two fields of ID and name. So it's very simple. It's called Learning Objects because it's an experiment I'm working on for another project, but it's very applicable to our project here. So here's our Rails application, and like I said, it's very simple. We just have the upload controller, an upload helper that got generated, which has actually nothing in it. And then we have one view. It's just our upload view. And this is what we need to look at first here. So in here, this is that form for that I was showing you. And our first thing is a file. And then we have an instant variable of a file. And then we give it an action for the form, or URL action, which is just, it's going to create a URL for this action of create. The really important option, and these last couple things are options here, and this is pretty much the standard way to do this, and you can just copy these and use them. The main thing that you have to set, if you don't do this, or you're going to get so many errors that will drive you crazy, is that one of the HTML options that you set with this hash setting right here is multi-part. Needs to be set to true. This will allow the form to upload the file data. If you don't do that, it's going to look like it works, but it really doesn't, and it's really important that you do that. So how this form for works is that you get this form for this particular object coming in here, and that's the actual object set to that. And it sets, and if there was multiple objects here, you could set them all, but in this case, we're just going to do it for one, and that's F, so that we've got, here's our file. This is just the reference to that particular local little variable. And then we're going to set the text field. It's the same thing. Don't get confused that it's doing something odd. It's still a text field, but it's for this particular form. And we're just going to set the name for that particular object here, and then down here we're going to set the file data. Now we've just kind of flipped it, where in the text field before we had the object over here and then the attribute. In this case, the object's over here, and then we call text field on it. So it's a little bit different way of looking at it, but it's the same effect. And again, we have our submit tag down here that we can set, and then this closes out the loop. So this closes out the whole thing. This is how that loop is formed right here. So the net effect of all that is it looks like this. You have that first is a name, and then you have this whole thing right here is to select your file. So if we want to clean it up a little bit, we could put in another break in here, or you could get really nice with some CSS and play around with that a little bit. That's really up to you how you want to do that, of course, or really you should probably get a designer to do it, because I know I can't make these things look very nice.